Hey guys, Game Ross here. Today I'm going to show you the cheapest, easiest and very tanky block setup for every class which you can achieve even before mapping. With this setup, you can have at least 100,000 plus effective hit pool. That's before Ascendancy or Fortify with only using item level 60 plus rare gears. Before I tell you the setup, I'm going to talk about the cons and mandatories of this setup. First, this is only for life-based builds, which means you will not have a lot of auras as energy shield builds do. Second, a mandatory gear that you need to have is either a staff, a shield, or 2 one-handed weapons. Third, another mandatory is that your helmet, boots, gloves, and body armor need to have evasion and armor because they will give you enough protection from physical damage, a good amount of evasion, and they can have spell suppression mod. Lastly, this setup has 0 life regeneration, which means be careful with very strong damage over time. Luckily, this setup grants you unlimited life flask, which I will tell you later how to get that. And that's all the cons and mandatories that I can think of with this setup. And with all that said, let's begin. First, do not focus on or copy the skill tree. I just took the life nodes, so it has a good amount of life pool. Right now, focus on the evasion, block, spell block, and spell suppression. Evading or blocking will prevent all damage from attack hits. Spell block will prevent all damage from spell hits. You will take 50% less damage from spell suppressed hits. Combination of these 4 defenses will give you really good amount of defense and very cheap gears. Right now I'm going to talk about the setup that uses a shield. To easily max your block chance and spell block, you will need a shield and use Deafening Essence of Loathing to get 13% chance to block, and get these nodes here, the shield and block masteries, and this keystone, Versatile Combatant. This keystone will limit your maximum block and spell block to 65%, but all of your extra block chance will be converted to spell block chance and will be multiplied by 2. I'd like to mention that this node, Aggressive Bastion, will give you 10% chance to gain endurance charge on kill, which will make you even more tankier. Right now, you should have max block and at least 60% plus spell block. But if you want to save some skill points, you can also use Tempest Shield for more spell block. Next, I want to talk about spell suppression and these evasion node, Evasion Mastery, and this keystone, Magebane. Magebane will remove the evasion that you get from dexterity and gives you 1% spell suppression chance per 15 dexterity. By getting this node, Reflexes, and this Evasion Mastery, they will give you a total of 29% spell suppression chance. Take note that this Evasion Mastery requires your boots, gloves, helmet and body armor to have evasion in order to get 15% spell suppression. If you have a lot of dexterity, you should get a really good amount of spell suppression from these nodes and keystone alone. Right now, the total percentage of your spell block and spell suppression should be 100% or more. If you still need more spell suppression, then you can just get more on your gears. Once you reach the total percentage of spell block and spell suppression to 100% or more, all spell hits that you will take will either be blocked or suppressed. Next, I want to talk about evasion. To get a good amount of evade chance, get a very high evasion body armor or shield. These should give you enough evade chance. But if you want more, then you can also blind your enemies. If you have 65% block chance, then all you need to have is at least 35% evade chance, which you can easily get from a high evasion body armor or a high evasion shield. Once the total percentage of block and evade chance reach 100% or more, then all attack hits that you will take will either be blocked or evaded. Alternatively, you can dual wield at this part of the skill tree. It's basically the same as the shield setup. For block and spell block, just get the keystone, Versatile Combatant, and these block nodes. And then get these evasion node, Evasion Mastery, and Magebane for spell suppressions. Next, I want to talk about Petrified Blood and Life Flasks. Using Petrified Blood is only optional, but this will definitely make you even more tankier. Petrified Blood will remove all of your life regeneration if your life is above 50% of your maximum life. But half of your life will prevent 40% damage from hits, and then you will take that prevented damage over 4 seconds. Keeping your life above 50% will give you more defense, but you will not have any life regeneration. To counter the 0 life regeneration, I took these nodes, Profane Chemistry, replenishing remedies, and this flask mastery, which gives a total of 4 life flask charges gained every 3 seconds. To save some skill points, you can just anoint replenishing remedies on your amulet. With these, you can use your life flask more often and keep your life full and never run out of life flask charges even during boss fights. They also give you a total of 3 mana flask charges gained every 3 seconds, which is a bonus. You can have a very strong permanent mana regeneration if you use a mana flask with this mod. Lastly, you can easily get 100% elemental ailment avoidance by getting this nodes here and this life nodes here. Getting all of this nodes will give you a total of 70% elemental ailment avoidance. For more elemental ailment avoidance, you can either get more avoidance on your shield, or you can get this shield mastery. Or you can craft it on your shield, body armor, or boots. Or you can use Eldritch Eye Core on your boots for elemental ailment avoidance implicit. It is easy to get this setup when you are a duelist, a ranger, or a scion, and it is still fairly easy when you are a marauder or a shadow for some builds. But this setup is a bit far from the Templar and Witch side of the skill tree. So this is the block setup for the Templar and Witch side. These are the block nodes that you need to get if you are using a shield. Use Tempest Shield for additional 25% spell block. With all of these, you should have 70% plus block and spell block chance. For the spell suppressions, just get enough of it on your gears until the total percentage of your spell block and spell suppression reach 100%. It's still possible to get 100% elemental ailment avoidance with this setup. First, get this shield mastery. Next, you can get a shield with high roll of elemental ailment avoidance. Or you can just craft it on your shield, body armor, or boots. You can also use Eldritch Eye Core on your boots for elemental ailment avoidance implicit. With all of these, you should be able to reach 100% elemental ailment avoidance. Getting this flask mastery here is just optional if you are using Petrified Blood. To be honest with you guys, I don't see a lot of builds with this setup. The only build I can see is a very tanky Righteous Fire build. But I still added this setup in this video in case some of you can make good builds out of this. Using a staff is really good at this part of the skill tree. You will need a staff that grants you additional block attack chance and get these block nodes here. Getting this staff mastery will boost your evasion and armor. To have 100% elemental ailment avoidance while using a staff, you will have to use the unique helmet Elevore Wolf Pelt with 25% elemental ailment avoidance roll and then craft the remaining on your boots and body armor. Check out the description for some notes that I may have added to this setup. With all that, you can have at least 100,000 plus effective hit pool and you will gain more defense once you get Fortify and those defensive ascendancy nodes. That's all I can say about this setup. If you have any questions, just leave them at the comment section and I will try my best to answer them. I also stream on Twitch, so you can go there and ask your questions live. If you like this setup, I would really appreciate a like and your subscription to my channel so you can also be notified whenever I make new videos. Thank you for watching and enjoy being tanky.